The pulsation energies that are affecting our planet at this time, I am now able to see are coming from the Orion system. And the reason why it is coming from this particular region in the cosmos is due to the fact that we are literally living through a very similar and or identical experience that most of us who were once a part of this system experienced. Orion is a place where many wars were fought. There was a lot of suffering, struggling, a lot of inequality, and a lot of pain. And as we are in this phase of Earth, it's coming to a head, and we are beginning to really see just how deeply the suffering is going and how much it is really beginning to affect those all over the world. We are receiving immense support from the Orion system to help us purge what no longer serves. We are receiving huge influxes of downloads and upgrades and purges. And these are coming in and being experienced in very physical and visceral ways. Lots of us may be experiencing emotional discomfort, physical discomfort especially, and not knowing the reason for it. But it is quite an intense experience at this time. But we must understand that though there is a discomfort in the receiving of this energy that is coming down into our planet, coming down into our vessels, into our earth, to help us to clear and purge and to take on these codes. It is helping us to move out that energy we brought in from the Orion system, the pain that was brought in from the Orion system at this time. These templates had to be brought in with our energetic body, with our souls. And though many of us who do carry the Orion energy, those who have once lived within that system, had to often experience more traumatic sort of life experiences, more difficult experiences, mimicking that template, mimicking that experience that was had on Orion, where power may have been taken from individuals. People had to feel suppressed. People were traumatized. People were put into these experiences of suffering. We brought it in, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but it was the soul's purpose to have to sort of relive it in a way, but on an earthly level, because it was those very experiences that ended up being the catalyst that we needed in order to see what needed to change here, what we could do differently so that Earth would not repeat those same sort of patterns. And also, having been through the suffering already, the trauma that was taken on in those past lives, we knew that was something we just did not want to repeat, even on a personal level and on a global level. So as a result, it ended up being sort of what we would consider a lesson. The lesson we needed to remember, the lesson that we learned from, and remember how to bring the healing that came from the balance that was eventually restored, the chaos that had ended, the pain and suffering that had ended from those Orion wars. We had to bring in that knowledge of having the ability to heal it, remembering that we could heal that, and that we had to go through the catalyst to get to that point of healing, because it did turn so many of us into healers, into being able to see the world for what it was and how it was not a sustainable course to continue on. And so it propelled us into these light worker positions, these healing positions, these lifestyles where we look to achieve balance and healing and peace and togetherness and community. So that we could change the course of Earth's path at that time. Of course, this path was predestined. But we still had to play out the experiences in order to fulfill that predestined experience of coming here to this planet. Over and over and over again. Creating the points of light that we would come into through these many lifetimes on Earth, leading up to this final push and to the age of light, this final step. The final burst of light needed to veer us into a more coherent and harmonized and loving, heart-based society on Earth. And so at this time, we are seeing the uptick of all of those echoes that had occurred within the Orion system. And it's causing a lot of us to, there are many who are beginning to feel that fear again, feel that, oh no, what's going to happen? But it's also inspiring so many people to be like, this has got to stop. And it is activating a light template within us to really step into that role of, we're changing this. We're not doing this again. And as this is being activated, as this is being played out, as this is being experienced, we are going through a purge. We are receiving pulsations and energies from the Orion system to help with this process, to help keep us on the path, to help remind us that we are not victims. We are not a victim to fear, and that we have the tools necessary to remain grounded and within our hearts, and to do things differently that brings equality and peace and harmony and thriving for all, to help us step out of that survival instinct and of all the heavy programming that has taken place for so long, that has made us feel like we had no other choice but to live out these specific programs. So we are receiving that additional information from Orion. And I am now seeing that that template was put into full force, that download, that the pulsation, the extreme energy from Orion that is arriving now, that is causing these massive purges that can be a bit painful for many of us. I'm seeing that the event that happened in Shasta, or off the shore of Shasta, I should say, the coast of Shasta, that affected the tunnels, opened something within that area. The root chakra of the earth. As it opened, whatever it opened, that earthquake, that 7.3 earthquake that happened earlier in this month, it also released a massive amount of stored emotion and energy and things that were deep and dark and hidden from within the root chakra of the earth. Much as we release when we have to heal ourselves, we have to allow the release of these emotions, of these energies, and the movement through our root chakra, letting go of all that has been stored there, so that we can fully heal and integrate and understand and grow and gain the wisdom and the strength that we need from it. So Shasta was the catalyst for that. That's why it was so powerfully felt, because it literally was the opener that aligned us to receive that Orion frequency of pulsation happening now. And why things are beginning to intensify, why even on personal levels and collective levels, things are becoming more and more intense in many, many ways, but also many truths being exposed, many darknesses being exposed, a lot coming to light to be seen for what it is and for what it was, so that we can heal it. Because the only way to heal it is to see it. Sai andor u zesti ia atari ia nor as ku tai ete ia asar ia. We must remember, stay in the heart, stay grounded. We are strong. We are courageous. We have it within us to change the course of all that is playing out, while also seeing it from the bigger picture of the need for the chaos to happen in order for us to see what it is that needs to be brought to the light to be healed. For this will be the catalyst that propels us into the harmonious future and earth that we seek, the balance that is needed, the ability for all to be equal and for all to thrive and for all to be safe. And we are being highly supported at this time by not only those from the Orion system and other systems, star systems, but even from those in the earth. As above, so below, creating a torridial field of energy to continue to help us heal, help us move as we go through this sort of descent through the middle of the torridial field, releasing and seeing all that is contained within that section, so that once we reach the bottom of the torridial field, we can expand and open up and begin to surround the outside of the torus, the womb, the feminine, the creation, and begin to really truly create from within that space as we ascend upwards through this torridial field of energy.